Why, hello there, YouTube. It's been a minute. Thought I'd be a little bit more consistent, but I've been kind of busy. I did attempt to record a video, and it was a longer one too, which I imagine this one may be. But yeah, it was too hot. Like, it was too hot outside, and my phone was overheating, and it didn't save the video. So I was like, fuck it. So my YouTube algorithm of late has been about, like, I don't know, inexplicably. I mean, obviously I continue watching the videos, so it's not inexplicable, really. It's just, I mean, but why though? Why do I care? I don't know. It's just fascinating to me. Dating world. Wow, what a shit show that is, huh? Holy moly. Yeah. And then I was watching, the most recent video I think I was watching was about, I didn't even finish it all, I don't think, but it had Dr. Drew on it, who is kind of a tool, okay? But, you know, hey, he has an opinion, and it's not, like, just ridiculous. He's not a totally crazy person or anything like that, but, I don't know, just his biases and, you know, personality I don't think I'd really gel with, but I'll still listen to what he has to say because it's interesting. So there's a panel with a bunch of women and him, and he was talking about how, like, there's a study that came out about millennials or whatever, and how they're less sexually engaged. Like, the men from 18 to 24, a third of them reported, like, no sexual activity whatsoever. And it seemed alarming to the panel. And they were looking for reasons and explaining why this may be the case. Now, it wasn't just a video, it was like a reaction video to it. So there's a guy who's commenting, like, in the bottom corner, and he's talking about, well, you know, so he's bringing up points that they're not bringing up in the panel, which is nice, you know, to have an added perspective. And so he's like, well, I guarantee that women 18 to 24, they're not experiencing that. That's not the dramatic shift, let's say if there was a third, you know, but it wouldn't have been that, it hadn't changed that much or something. I think that's maybe what his point was, is that there's still the same number of, like, women who are experimenting, if not maybe perhaps more. But what does that mean? It means they're going after the same guys. Now, here's the thing, right? If all these women are wanting the same dudes, these dudes are going to treat you like shit for the most part. I'm not lying here, right? If you're in demand, and women are literally like, what are you doing for me? Like, why should I be sticking around? I got all these women trying to come at me because they feel they're better than you, okay? And they really, like, want me for the status, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't totally get it, but whatever. I can kind of try to understand it. So, yeah, I mean, so women, they want, you know, and getting into this whole thing too with, like, unreasonable expectations. And pornography. These were topics that were intertwined, and it does exist. Like, why should I go out and, like, put myself in a box of, like, oh yes, mansplaining and manspreading and just the badness and toxicity that is manhood. But yet you still kind of want us to just be your useful idiots or something, you know, or the hot guy that, you know, I don't know. I think, like, women need to have like a 3.5 billion woman like, you know, like the Million Man March, but it's like for women to I don't know, come together and, you know, like lay the shit down. Obviously, there's no real consensus that's going to come out of this, of course, but I think for large swaths of groups, shall we say, there would be maybe some better understanding. Like, okay, this is what we want, this is what you want, that's cool, and we want to make it so that there is a space for what we want. Okay, but also, hey, maybe what you want is not something you're ever going to get. Wow. Maybe an adjustment, like a maturation period, you know, like, I'd want a better job. I want a better job, right? I want a job that pays me more money, that is not so, I don't know, in a way, it's like demeaning to have to deal with the public. Like, because I should have way more money in dealing with people who treat me like shit. Like police officers, they get treated like shit, and they also, you know, get treated like heroes, and people will give them free coffee. Like, if somebody comes in their uniform to my job and they have like a coffee or whatever, I don't charge them for that shit. Because, hey, man, now you do get a sense of pride from being a police officer, I'm sure. Like, I'm a police officer, I protect, I'm this and I'm that. Yes, for sure. And I'm not dismissing that you have to have this sort of like sense of yourself, that you're that guy or that lady or whatever. And okay, but still, you got to be kind of like a little bit of a dick to want to do that shit. I mean, you got to be kind of sleazy to want to be a politician. You gotta at least be like okay with it. Like, you gotta be okay with, I'm gonna get to tell people what the fuck to do, and they better obey my authority. Like, there's that, right there. I mean, no one else can do it. Only me. I don't want that to be it, but yeah, I don't really see that much. I see that, you know, there's quite a lot of good people that are police officers, for sure. And, you know, it's the bad apples that spoil the bunch, so to speak. But it just gives them a bad name, a bad reputation. But also, respect my authority and the command voice and all that shit, dude. It's like domination, really, like dominating another person. Like, it's just, there's something, the books are written about this, I'm sure. But anyway, getting off track. But yeah, no, I mean, my job does not pay me the money that I think I'm worth doing my job. Especially in this economy. All this shit, all these prices are going up. And, you know, I currently make about, I don't know, probably 27 cents more than what my parents made when they were working at the newspaper in the 1990s. Like 30 years ago. I'm making like 30 cents more than what my parents were making when they were, what, like they had to have been, let's see, I was like 15, 16, so they would have been 36, 37. So I'm 10 years older than they were 30 years ago. Something like that. I think I'm mathing right. And I'm only making like 30 something cents more than they did. And inflation in 30 years. What has inflation done in 30 years? Inflated. What is it inflated? It is inflated the cost of everything. And the dollar isn't keeping up. And that's why I believe in tying the money to something tangible that also rises in value. And it needn't be a gold standard. Because, yeah, sure, there's that asteroid or whatever that they recently found that has like quadrillion tons of gold in it. And somebody put, oh, we should harvest it and everybody would be a billionaire. And yeah. But do you know what the cost for rent would be? $2 billion. That's how it works. There's limited resources. Water, air. There are already people paying for air. Not just water. So inherently this system, which people complain about, and I've been known to complain about as well, but this system in general rests on we pay to live. Or someone pays for us to live. Incarcerated people. Ultimately, we are all incarcerated people to one extent or another. Like, sure, we have freedom. We don't have to wear a tether. But believe me, we're all kind of attached to each other. I don't know. You know, like, I believe in certain things, and I know that, what am I trying to say? I believe that certain things are coming about there's a guy named Carroll Quigley, and I was tuned into him from my stepfather, who lent me the book, and then I ended up buying him a book again. I don't know. I don't think he ever read it. Okay, but he bought it with the idea that he was going to read it because it was going to expose how, you know, like the whole secret ruling class and all this stuff, or just a ruling class of people who, you know, are tuned in to this. And it's his book written in the 60s called Tragedy and Hope, 1960s, Tragedy and Hope. It was about the Western civilization and how he saw some tragedies in it, and yet there was still hope. It's very dated. Like, if you read it today, you'd be like, what the fuck? He talked about the Africanization of the youth in the 1960s. How there was more of a a big part thesis would be how there's a preparing for tomorrow in the future that is not evident in some cultures. And he goes into like brief histories of various regions of the world that he combines, and like 1960s professor probably, well, he did do which you could imagine that he would do. Now he was a professor at Georgetown University, where he taught and mentored a young Bill Clinton. In fact, it was probably directly through him that he became a Rhodes Scholar. Cecil B. Rhodes, right? Cecil B. Rhodes, Rhodesia. All that colonizing stuff in Africa. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, or it's a little blurry. I believe it was on the. I believe, yeah. I think it's Democratic Republic of the Congo now. Anyway, neither here nor there. Wow. So my beliefs are like, there's another book he wrote called The Evolution of Civilizations, which I had to order from Barnes & Noble, because I was like, what other books has he read? Or I was looking at, or maybe I was looking at my Wikipedia or something, or whatever, back in the early days of Wikipedia, and they had like a listing of his other books, or somehow I got across, and I was like, The Evolution of Civilizations, this sounds like some interesting, and it is, it's a fundamentally interesting read. Like, I would, if anybody is interested in history and how things develop and where we might be headed, I think it's an interesting thing to consider. Basically, civilization, Western civilization, or civilization in general, has to have a modus of expansion, a way in which it expands. It brings into itself more than it is exerting or spending, subsisting on itself. So when you have like civilizations at their end, they lack a mode of expansion. They lack a way, or the mode of expansion has become an institution and has become institutionalized. And instead of seeking to reform or make itself address the issues it has, because nothing's perfect, there's always going to be kind of issues with things. And the interest, the vested interest, have a vested interest in continuing things just the way that they are. And they will fight, and they will go against progress in terms of making this mode of expansion better. And, so there's, he's like, and it just inevitably, what happens is that it's just stifling, and the mode of expansion ends up just seeking its own self-existence, and then it just is basically just a leech. Now, Western civilization, whether, starting from like, it's like Greece and Rome and the Holy Roman Empire and England, France, Spain, America over the last easily 100 years. I mean, winning World War I, I think, the age of America. And if you think about it, America is, I mean, it's weird to think about because I'm American. And so you have to like try to like think of it from where other people's perspectives are. What does America mean to them? And to the world, and, or just whatever. What does America represent and mean? The meaning of it. So Western civilization, which is basically saw, I mentioned like Greece and Rome and Holy Roman Empire, France, Britain, or the United Kingdom, England, whatever, Spain. It has, Vikings. There is inherently this ability to find a new mode of expansion. So that and generally there is a westward progression, and it's like what do they call it? Like bypassing. So you have like more of your, what do they call them? Like, not your hinterlands, but your outlying areas. They pick up on, maybe a cultural leanings in Christianity and all that stuff, but Western civilization. But a lot of like the mythology and the archetypal like relationships and energy, that's, it kind of continues, but is anyway, changed to fit the new environment. So you could definitely see how people learned and picked up. But there's other avenues. There's ways of skirting it and going around and coming up with something new. Technology, having a new technology that then serves as a mode of expansion in terms of, like steam engines. Having this source of stored energy that, instead of just within an animal or a person, can be, utilized through mechanical processes and electrical processes. And this is still kind of ongoing, where there's not in general other places, let's say you have a Ford Motor Company. So in America, Ford Motor Company is, it can be political. It can have a lot of political clout. There can be a lot of politicking involving the car industry, or let's say Ford Motor Company in particular. Now, if Ford Motor Company was a monopoly, and the government would be very much involved, legislation drawn up, because inherently, like, maybe it was like the army, or something. Like, it would have a monopoly. I mean, I guess really what I'm trying to say here is that if any of these, Google or Tesla, whatever not, it had the power to take away upstarts, it would that would be a problem, and it would not allow for reforming or another avenue to exist, because it would be threatened by it. And so you see that there are they're saying, oh, we can't have monopolies, but in fact we can act as like a like OPEC or whatever, where it's like a cartel of interests that are all tied together, although they may have their own individual lines and products, but they're like, okay, well, you take this part of the market, I'll take that part of the market, and we're good. But if some other person comes on, we're both gonna like go after that person and really, like, I don't know, drop our prices down, make it really hard for them. So Western civilization and part of their ideals are not conducive to that. They don't think that's right. And so there's always these ability to recognize that and seeing it and saying, that's bad, we don't support that. And so companies and organizations have had to be more slick about how they sort innovation and reformations, and part of it is through public relations, marketing, the fabricating a meaning and story, and how they, choose to do things. So, what do we have to look forward to? Well, in the evolution of civilizations, I think what we're seeing here is the emergence of a global culture. But and that's what's happening right now, is we are going towards an overriding. I mean, sure, there's going to be like pocket little areas, but they're always going to be seen as like a problem. And for whatever reason, well, like when people go out and like nylon rope manufacturers who wanted to outlaw hemp because it was tied in with marijuana, and then you get this newspaper basically blowing up occurrences of people smoking marijuana, and then oh my god, this is so bad. So you get the journalists to stir up public opinion to create legislation to go after it. And again, that's why I'm I wouldn't say like a big L libertarian, but a libertarian nonetheless. Like, we shouldn't be just saying, oh my god, I'm so offended by this thing, we should stop it. Like, within reason, of course. Like, I'm not advocating for anarchy or anything like that. I think that people shouldn't go around killing other people. That's, yeah. Okay. We shouldn't be robbing from other people. So, what do we do? Do we say, oh, well, let's not have any law enforcement? Like defund the police and all that stuff. Like, I know that there's other alternative. I know there are alternatives, but I am not in the place of accepting these alternatives quite yet. Although, de facto, I mean, nine times out of 10, when I am driving and I see a cop, I'm not like, yay! Okay? Unless there's somebody who's like doing some crazy shit and I'm like, good, yeah, get him. Like, that motherfucker's gonna cause an accident, he's gonna kill somebody. I'm glad you're here pulling that person over or alerting and getting them off the road. But as far as, cities get money from the fines that they give to the people for doing stuff that the city doesn't want them to do. So there is some pressure, if you will, or at least like expectation of like quotas, even though there's no such thing as, they don't really exist, But those courts want money. They got stenographers. How many? They got they clerks. How many people work there? And it's a shitty job. You got to deal with the public again. The public at large. Let me tell you this right now. There are people who derive pleasure from causing other people the lack of, or irritation, shall we say. They enjoy causing people irritation. And people they don't even know. Like, I mean, I can enjoy causing some people that I love some irritation sometimes because it's funny or whatever. But, and it may be fucked up, right? Like, well, it'd be better just to, no. These people know me. They know my phone number. If they really had a problem with me, we're talking about anonymous douchebags, okay? One of my job responsibilities is to make sure that this public restroom looks fantastic. And there are people that come in and will tell me how terrible the bathroom is. And I go in there and there is like 2 pieces of toilet paper on the ground. Like, oh yeah, man, your bathroom is trash. You got to do something about it. Damn, because I've seen it trashed. I've seen it not just trash, but a biohazard. Like, check on your elders. Because if they can't go to the bathroom right, how does poop end up on a sink? Okay, so, but like, clearly there is a trash can and there are paper towels, right? That we have. They come out of the dispenser, you wave your hand, boom, here comes a little paper towel, boom, you rip it, boom, whatever, wipe my hands off after washing my hands. Every couple days or so, I'll go to use the restroom and I'll notice someone has purposely put one of these towels in the toilet. And I know some of them might not know, but most of them know they should not be putting those paper towels down the toilet drain. They want to inconvenience people that aren't them. Like, they've done used the restroom. Fuck you. Everyone else. So when the bathroom clogs, we got to close it, and then everybody coming in to use the bathroom. Oh my God, where's the bathroom? Oh my God. We put signs on. People don't care. They'll come through. They'll still try to use it. I'll have a sign on. I'll be like mopping. But just like, sorry. Like, it's just messed up. Like, how do you account for these people? These people that don't give a fuck. And it might just be I'm in a bad mood today. Normally, totally fine person. Not an asshole. Not a douchebag. But, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm having a bad day. You know? Hey, that happens. But there is a critical mass of just unrepentantly asshole people. They're solipsistic, or everyone else just exists for them. And whatever. No. Those are people I choose not to deal with. Anyway. So yeah, let's get back on track here, right? So I've been watching videos on the modern dating scene and women hitting the wall and women's expectations being crazy, and that because of social media, y'all think you should have a man with 6 figures. Y'all think you should have a man that is no, I'm saying y'all, but it's not you, all of you, but the ones that I'm talking about, y'all, think have these unrealistic expectations. Hallmark movies, social media. Now, I'm not a dude who's being like, you should accept me, because I don't need you to accept me. I'm fine. I'm just saying you all look bothered. Like, you're not getting what you want. So, you're whining on social media how you're not able to find what you want. So, a rational person would say, if I can't find this, then maybe I should stop looking for this. Because apparently it doesn't exist. Or at least it's not for you. Like, and that's why I'm a proponent, I think, of belief in things greater than yourself. Whatever that may be for you, that's fine. God, spirit, the universe. Because you shouldn't be so... You should just let things kind of go as they go. Well, if you're an atheist who feels you need to be in control of everything, well, good luck with that. But me, I'm just a passenger. And yeah, I get to make some choices. I want to go this way. So I'm going to book passage that way. That's what I want. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I'm going to try. I'm going to try for a better job. I need to go back to school. You know, it's interesting. I'm 46. I'll be 47 in like 2 months. A little over 2 months. I'll be 47. And I'm like, man, if I knew what I knew now, like 20 years ago, it was a different time then, you know? This brings me to another point. How is society going to be telling us skill traits, skill traits, skill traits, skill traits, skill traits, skill traits? We need them, 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 we need skill traits, we need skill traits, we need skill traits. But then getting a job, like an apprentice, you have to have all this stuff beforehand. There's a gap, right? So like I'm in like this program. It's kind of like a gap program. It's so some kind of agency or something is given a grant to Macomb Community College to provide 11 credits. There's they lunches for the seminars, and they're kind of, you know, hey, that's what's up. Like, they want to get people and say, hey, we're doing this skilled trade, this apprenticeship readiness program. I'm taking a class that's math that you'd find in the skilled trades. I'm taking a class that involves workplace safety using an OSHA book. Although it will not get me an OSHA 10 certification, which apparently is a thing. But I can pay $59, take an online thing, and get that certificate after 2 weeks, apparently, after I'm done doing it. Okay, cool. That's not that bad. But I'm older. I'm like, people are going to look at me like I'm on my deathbed or something. Like, why do I want to hire you when, you know, you're going to die sooner than some guy I could hire who's in his 20s. Oh, that guy in his 20s isn't going to really care that much about any particular job. They probably don't have too much pride in it, for the most part. They probably, their mind is on other stuff, not doing a good job. But where's the gap filling in? Like, you want journeyman electricians, but to become a journeyman electrician, you have to be an apprentice electrician. There's a job post looking for an apprentice electrician like 30 miles from where I stay. One, apprenticeship.gov. Apprenticeship electrician. There was one. They want 2 years experience. Who's going to hire you to get that experience? What job exists to get the 2 years of experience so that you can become an apprentice? So, you know, expectations, I guess. I guess that's what we're going to call this video, expectations. Okay, you expecting a journeyman electrician. And yeah, they're journeyman electricians out there for sure. But they're probably getting paid more money than you're wanting to pay for them. So then you say, okay, you know what? We'll take apprentices. But we need to, you know, we need to have 2 years experience. Like, make it make sense. You know, am I missing something? I'm smart, but I'm not like all smart. You know, I could be wrong. Hey, here's this job. They'll pay me less money than what I make now. And I can get that experience so that in 2 years I can get another job so that I'm making more money than I'm making now. That's what it's looking like right now. So, I don't know. I think that like, it's messed up. and it should be fixed. How? Well, let's think about it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just taking a note. You've got young people who, for the most part, would probably just have an extended adolescence. No real responsibilities. Freedom, sure. But like ultimately they can just go back to mom and dad's house. And I know that. I've done that. But you know, I don't know, man. There's something more opportunities. And I don't know it from that side of the fence, I don't know. Sure, that shit's expensive, you gotta hire somebody, you're gonna put them in classes, or at least hire somebody like I like this job post with the lube person, like a lube apprentice or something like that at Royal Oak dealership. And basically, like, just have a high school diploma, and just have some kind of like mechanical aptitude, which I don't think is that hard to demonstrate. And they'll train you how to do, and if you're good, they could maybe put you in as a mechanical apprentice. Like, you could go to school, they'll pay you to go to school to be a mechanic, and you get more and more stuff. And I think that's pretty dope. I like that approach. You're willing to have entry level and see how they go before you even, where are those? Where's like a electrical apprenticeship? Like, can I get a job where, and I mean, it's not even, like HVAC or something. I don't know. I'm willing to work and to make more money. And the cost of living is not kept, or sorry, wages have not kept up with the cost of living. This, I think, would tie back into the evolution of civilizations, in that we're becoming more of a global civilization, and there are things that are becoming equalized. America is not such a great place compared to the rest of the world as it used to be. There's less buying from us and more of us buying from others. Why? Because it's cheaper. But for how long? Well, enough to make a serious dent in the sort of hubris that Americans have, maybe. I don't know. All I want is a job that eventually I can get up to $30 an hour, and that's what it's basically like, if you made $25 an hour, 40 hours a week for 50 hours a week, you make 50 weeks a year, 2 weeks off, non-paid. But 40 hours, 50, it's 20, it's 2,000. If you multiply 2,000 by the $25 an hour, it's $50,000 a year. So, break that down. So, 48,000 you can lop off and say that's $4,000 a month. Now you do have an extra $2,000. So if we cut $2,000 in half, that's $1,000 over 6 months. It's $500 over 3 months. So $166. So $4,166.66 every month. $1,000 would be just under a quarter of that. That's how much you're supposed to be spending on housing. $1,000. At $50,000 a year. I do not make $50,000 a year. No, not at all. I made like $36,000 last year. So, divide that by 12. That's $3,000. Now, do I have $3,000 to spend? No. Taxes. So, I have a take home about $2,000 a year. Insurance. So that's $500 in housing that I have. Right. As a 46-year-old man. I need to make more money than that. So, here I am. Trying to do better. Trying to improve myself. And I'm not just sitting and crying about it. I'm trying to actively. I have 20 years before I'm looking at retirement. Looking to be retired. I have 20 years. I don't know. Time flies by fast. In hindsight. Anyways, this has gone on for a minute, and I may do something else. I may change it, post another video, but I'm going to be done with this video for right now. So, thanks for listening, and enjoy your day, and keep on keeping on. Peace out, Girl Scouts.